Hello my dudes, today I want to talk about jawlines. For my 28th birthday, I made a consultation to get chin liposuction. I was fully prepared to spend over $3,000 to get the highly coveted snatched jawline. Is that price crazy? Yes. But I convinced myself it would be worth it. I mean, how much would you pay to have your biggest insecurity wiped away instantaneously? This whole obsession has been rather surprising for me because I generally haven't been interested in cosmetic procedures. I haven't been tempted by Botox or fillers, but the idea of chin lipo was one thing I just could not stop dreaming of. Spoiler, I obviously did not end up going through with it for reasons I'll get into soon, but here I am a year and a half later, and guess what? I still regret not doing it. I thought I would get over the hyperfixation if I maybe stopped taking pictures of myself from every possible angle, and then I could be proud of myself for resisting the urge, for fighting back against these impossible beauty standards. But that hasn't happened, and I'm still unfortunately caught in this obsession. It is absolutely toxic. I know. I watched this actress roundtable recently and all I could think was, oh my god, those jawlines. Stunning profiles. I was painfully jealous. So I thought it would be interesting and maybe cathartic to make a video about all of this. The insidious pursuit of the perfect jawline. Let's dive into why we value this feature so much and explore the many products, treatments, and procedures that promise to bring you closer to that ideal. A great jawline and lack of double chin is a pretty universally desirable beauty standard, and it has been for a long time. This is not a new phenomenon. However, we are in a particularly big moment for snatched jawlines. By the way, snatched originated in AAVE and drag culture, which tends to be true for many terms that end up being known as popular slang. I'm trying to describe it in other ways, but snatched really does just capture it. A snatched jawline is well defined, the sharper the better. Many men see a strong, square jawline as a key tenet of masculinity, but I think well-defined jawlines transcend gender. They're associated with youth and sometimes power. As Jolene Edgar wrote, "We are unequivocally in our jawline era. Experts pin our collective fascination on the usual suspects. Selfie culture, the persistence of Zoom, and the popularization of procedures aimed at improving the geometry of our jawlines." Hannah Marriott echoed similar points and specifically highlighted how selfie poses have shifted. We used to take pictures from high angles, but now many influencers turn their heads to the side and position the camera lens just beneath them to show off jawlines so delineated, from a precise flat chin to the curve of the mandible angle, that they look like cheese knives. And that is so true. It is such a flex to be able to pull off a low angle photo. So let's touch on the context of all in which we live. In recent years, we have been moving away from body positivity, which was certainly an imperfect trend and was too often co-opted as a marketing tool. Damn you, capitalism. But even within the world of body positivity, there was that pressure to be the right kind of curvy, have an hourglass figure, small waist, flat stomach, and definitely no double chin. Even plus-size models almost never have double chins. And it's no secret, many of them have had surgery like chin lipo in order to achieve that so that they could represent this extremely uncommon beauty ideal. And that brings us to the fat phobia of it all. Glorifying this perfect, well-defined jawline, it is the antithesis of a double chin. We associate double chins with being fat, and most people don't want to be perceived as such. As Elizabeth Endicott wrote, "Our society frowns upon double chins, relegating them as symbols of dejection and sloth, siphoning off their representation for villains and loafs. They are quick, lazy signifiers of negativity in media. Miserable, hilarious, evil, or grotesque." So anyway, it seems body positivity is on the way out, and our current era is much more insidious. As many have speculated, it appears thin is back in. Thin has always been celebrated, but skinny is getting skinnier. And I definitely believe this thinner ideal is a major reason why snatched jawlines and chin lipo are so popular right now, along with the rise of GLP-1 weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Mounjaro. Marriott wrote, "The snatched look suggests a depressing, if predictable, shift away from fashion's brief, limited flirtation with curves towards something skinnier and bonier. The reality is, for most people, unless you are genetically blessed, you would have to reach an extremely low body fat percentage in order to get that perfectly snatched jawline. And even many people at their thinnest can't get rid of that stubborn fat under their chin." But before we continue, this portion of today's video is sponsored by Blueland. If you are looking to cut down on plastic usage, I highly recommend checking out Blueland's refillable cleaning products. Blueland's products have no single-use plastic, and all of their packaging is either compostable or recyclable. I have had their hand soaps in the past and really enjoyed them. These dispensers are very pretty, and the soap foams up nicely. They have 5 scent options plus fragrance-free. But one of my absolute favorite things is how cost-effective and space-saving these are. I don't have to store big bottles of liquid soap refills. I can just keep my few little tablets and I'm good to go. Blueland also has products for your dishwasher, laundry, and toilet. This time I got the laundry starter set, which comes with this metal tin and 60 refill tablets. I have been doing a ton of laundry since my baby was born, like multiple loads per day, honestly, and I try to avoid heavy scents around her, so I was really glad to get these fragrance-free tablets. You just throw 1 in the machine, 2 for a large load, add your clothes, and run the cycle. I love that these are gentle enough for baby clothes, but still tough on stains. So once again, I highly recommend checking out Blueland. You can save even more money by buying refills in bulk or setting up a subscription so you won't run out of your most used products. You can click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to get 15% off your first Blueland kit. Something I found really fascinating was that in nearly every chin lipo testimonial I found, everyone claimed their double chin was genetic. Malia Griggs wrote, "I've always had a double chin. It looked like my dad's. He calls it the old Griggs gobble gobble." Getting chin lipo because it's genetic reminds me of people who get a nose job and say it's because they had a deviated septum. Like, it very well may be true.
That obtuse cervical mental angle that you see on some people is often caused by the positioning of the hyoid bone. Instead of being positioned superior and posterior, the hyoid bone in some people is positioned more anterior and inferior. Also, some people have more subplatysmal fat, and that too can create that heavy neck appearance.
But also maybe you just want that improved aesthetic appearance, and it's okay to say that. But ultimately, it is completely natural and normal to have chin fat. I know I'm saying this kind of late on in the video, but it's so obvious. Does it need to be said? It is a normal feature that humans have. We don't have to get this removed. There's nothing inherently wrong with having some fat on your chin or your jawline. But again, this is one of those beauty standards that just seeps into your brain and convinces you that this feature is unnatural and horrible and it has to be fixed. Griggs continued, "As I aged and increasingly saw myself on social media, in selfies, and on Zoom, my chin became inescapable. The constant comparison of my jowls with others' starkly defined jawlines, and the guilt I felt that I didn't love everything about my body, took over significant portions of my thoughts, like some sort of brain-eating amoeba." And I've been there too. It is rough. But before you go and book a consult for chin lipo, maybe we can look at some other options. Is anything else gonna help? Who among us hasn't Googled how to get rid of a double chin? Marriott wrote, "The hashtag snatched jawline has more than 210 million views on TikTok, where it is used to promote a litany of products that claim to offer a taut, smooth jaw. They include Jazzercise, a bizarre-looking chewable ball, and Rockjaw's mastic chewing gum, which claim to work out facial muscles. Users also promote hundreds of face yoga apps, creams, jade rollers, sling-like face masks for the jaw, and electrical devices that claim to temporarily lift skin using light therapy. None of these products have rigorous long-term research behind them. Some come with no scientific backing at all. They have, nevertheless, flooded the market as the jawline has become a beauty pressure point." For example, I came across a TikTok that was basically promoting body positivity or even neutrality, and still commenters flooded this person with suggestions to try gua sha to get rid of that double chin. Can you imagine? People on the internet are so ridiculously rude. Has no one told you to chill out with the unsolicited advice? Gua sha and jade rollers can reduce inflammation, encourage lymphatic drainage. Honestly, these are relatively inexpensive and low risk, but it is still extremely misleading to promise chin lipo-esque results.
Does gua sha help with the double chin? Well, maybe, but most of the time not really. I mean, it really depends on the cause of the double chin. And most of the time it's from fat or genetics, and gua sha will not work on this. But if you are prone to swelling in your face from fluid, like from your sinus issues or allergies or sensitivities, then gua sha can help remove some of that fluid.
Okay, so moving along the spectrum to more expensive and more intensive treatments, there are fat dissolving injections like Kybella. that can cost anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. It can be painful and have a pretty intense healing process, including bullfrog neck. And after going through probably multiple rounds of Kybella, many patients still report not seeing great results. On Real Self, only 51% of patients said Kybella is worth it. Then there is Coolsculpting, killing fat cells by freezing them. From what I've seen, it seems to have pretty subtle results at best, and at worst, you could end up with permanent damage like Linda Evangelista. She experienced PAH, which is a rare side effect where basically instead of shrinking, the fat cells actually grow and harden. It's funny how even after hearing about side effects like that, it's so easy to still convince yourself, an injectable doesn't seem that bad, I can deal with some temporary side effects. There's something about like the med spa allure. It's in the name, like it's a spa, it's a little treat yourself. Oh, don't worry, it's like non-invasive or minimally invasive. It's just a cute little tweak mint. But yeah, these treatments can definitely carry risks, and overall many of them like do not work or don't work to the level that many patients expect or hope for. And then when it comes to, again, products like the hard chewing gum and those jaw workout products, those can cause harm. Like many dentists are seeing increased cases of TMJ pain and tooth injuries. It's not something you want to mess around with. You're trying to build up your masseter and you're gonna end up breaking your molars. Anyway, if you are searching for solutions for your double chin and trying to find ways to improve your jawline, you will inevitably stumble upon mewing.
This is mewing. It's a postural technique that involves placing the tongue on the roof of the mouth to gain health and facial improvements. The aim is to align the teeth, accentuate your cheekbones, sharpen your jawline, and even straighten your nose naturally, all without invasive surgeries or expensive orthodontics.
I remember when I first learned of mewing years ago, immediately I thought, this is loser behavior. Here I am obsessing about my tongue posture. I was like, yes, I'm obsessed with my double chin, but like there's gotta be a line and I have crossed it. Mewing has become an incredibly popular part of looks maxing, so my internal alarm bells went off. Honestly, if you find yourself aligning with incel content, you are probably not in a good headspace. And yet, I still couldn't resist learning more. Maybe there was some truth to this, and I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't spend a little more time investigating. I knew I had some fat in my chin, just like everyone does, but maybe that's actually not the real problem. Maybe I have unfortunate neck, tendon, and bone structure. Perhaps a weak chin? I don't know, this could be a tooth problem or a posture problem, maybe all of the above. Cue me continuing to analyze and pick apart my entire upper body, searching for blame. For example, the posture-jaw connection. I do have famously bad posture. If I dared to post myself on the posture subreddit, I'm sure they would unanimously diagnose me with forward head posture, tech neck, rounded shoulders, anterior pelvic tilt. This is how I find myself sitting much of the day, and it's only gotten worse feeding my baby. I just end up curled into a ball. I'm well aware my back and core are weak, which pulls on my neck. I've struggled with headaches for years and even had terrible TMJ pain while writing this video, and it is torturous. So I totally understand the pressure and desperation that you might feel to just find a solution. By the way, I'm working with a new co-writer, hi Salem, and we found out that we both embarrassingly bought the Upright Go device that vibrates when you slouch to try to like annoy you into submission. And sadly, it failed me. Now I have bad posture and more trash. So anyway, I do believe that my posture might be affecting my jaw, but what if the reverse is true? Could my jaw be causing bad posture? Either way, it is a horrible, painful feedback loop that is impacting me in appearance and function. I should definitely stretch more regularly, and I should start strength training to build up muscle in my back and core, and maybe I should try face yoga. I recently found this TikTok account that analyzes celebrity faces, jaws, palates, and teeth through a myofunctional lens, and she highlights how these features might affect one's breathing, swallowing, sleeping, etc. There's copyrighted music on this, so she says, I'm not saying she's pretty, I'm not saying she's ugly, that's up to you to decide. I'm just gonna talk about the function of her mouth, what is working and what's not working properly. A lot of you notice that Taylor Swift has lip incompetence, so it's hard for her to keep her lips closed. Her lip muscles are not doing the job that they're supposed to do, and her tongue, if it was where it should be, would have grown her jaw wide and forward, and it didn't. This can cause TMJ problems, sleep apnea, hormonal issues, anxiety, depression, stuff like that. If someone said I had lip incompetence, I would simply pass away. So her bio says she is a registered dental hygienist, myofunctional therapist, and airway specialist. Myofunctional therapy is basically about training your face, tongue, and mouth muscles to behave correctly. I don't know. But I do find this TikTok account fascinating. At first, it reminded me of Veneer Check. This dentist analyzes celebrity teeth, pointing out who appears to have veneers. But I think the tone and attitude are very different. Like Dr. Sarah, the dentist, her TikToks are very kind. She's very complimentary of natural teeth, even so-called imperfections. She appreciates the character and how natural teeth suit the individual. And I don't think she's promoting veneers at all, or in most cases, she's just trying to create some awareness and transparency. However, Healthy Mouth, Healthy Life's TikToks, her TikToks are a lot more negative and honestly pretty brutal. Celebrities do face constant micro-analyzing of their appearance, but this is next level. Asked me to do a Myo review on poor John Heater. This is classic adenoid face. Elongated face shape, hump in the nose, tired eyes, and lips that are hard to stay closed over the teeth. And he's creating a false jawline with his facial hair. He doesn't have one.
Let's talk about Emma Stone. I did some digging and I found out some crazy information about her mouth. She was a thumbsucker until she was 12.
But really, what I find so interesting is that these celebrities are known as some of the most talented, attractive, and wealthy people on the planet. But apparently they all have horrible jaw deformities and teeth problems.
Let's talk about Margot Robbie. She does have really good facial development. Here you can see a little bit of scalloping, little ridges on the side of her tongue. That shows that there's not enough space for the tongue. I'd say this is like an 8 out of 10 myofunctionally. 8.5.
If Margot Robbie is only an 8.5, if these beautiful, rich people can't fix these problems, is there any hope for average folks like us?
Let's talk about Luigi Mangione.
Okay, actually yes, very relevant. Can any of us even access this kind of healthcare? Is this therapy covered by insurance? The mainstream media coverage of that was so off, they refused to even talk about
Where is that tongue supposed to fit in that mouth?
Oh, that's not what I was gonna say, but
You see how his tongue looks pretty kind of big and flabby, I guess, for lack of a better term?
well, right. Okay, now I have to get back into mewing because it has actually gone mainstream and we've got to talk about it. I've seen TikToks of girls sucking in their chin like magic, which honestly I find annoying because they actually seem to be like frogging out their chins and then going back to a more neutral position. But maybe I'm just jealous that mewing actually seems to do something for them because for me, like, I can't even do it properly. Maybe that's why I'm pissed. I must have such bad mouth structure because like there's nowhere else for my tongue to go. I don't get a snatched jaw just from mewing.
Lips together, teeth together, and tongue on the roof of the mouth.
No. But yeah, mewing going mainstream has been really wild. I've seen kids as young as elementary school interested in mewing. On the subreddit, people are asking, oh, should I have my 8-year-old brother mew? Like, start him young, get him set for a good palate. There was also this whole meme that I'm not even gonna pretend to understand. But you see, the wonderful thing about mewing is that it's free, and that's why dentists hate it, because it's a secret that's gonna solve all of our problems. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to believe. If it's that simple, I gotta get in on this, right? So I checked out the mewing subreddit, or the orthotropics page, and I'm looking at these before and afters, people showing their, transformations, and I'm just not buying it. I'm always very skeptical of before and after photos. There are just so many factors that can affect how you look. Different lighting, different camera angles, slouching. Like, it's so easy to exaggerate a bad before and make your after look better. I'm just like, I don't see it. Like, remember that girl who straightened her nose naturally? No, she didn't. She literally said she had a nose job. And Dr. Mew too? He misrepresented her as an example. But still, maybe I should just give this orthotropics thing a chance. I probably just don't understand exactly how impressive and elaborate it is. My brain too small. So essentially, Mew argues that traditional orthodontic methods are outdated. They fail to address major structural issues like narrow palates, bite issues, breathing issues, sleep apnea, and sometimes even worsen these problems, all in pursuit of straightening the teeth. Whereas orthotropics can fix these issues at the source to make our faces more functional and more attractive. Chad-like jaws, here we come. All you have to do is mew for like at least 8 hours a day. But you can do it overnight, you can do it in your sleep. Work on your tongue posture, and over time your jaw will improve, it will transform. Tons of commenters and Redditors insist that mewing really has worked for them. And honestly, if you're watching this and you really love to mew, you can keep doing it. I'm not gonna stop you, and I don't think your tongue posture alone is really gonna cause any problems. Though I definitely do have beef with the grift of it all. There are many, many grifters in this space, taking advantage of all these people who desire a stronger jaw, whether that is for function or appearance. They want better breathing and all these supposed benefits. I think to the average viewer, these orthotropic videos can seem pretty legit. They reference complicated science and biology that I can't claim to understand. How can I really refute it if I don't know how all this works? And again, so many people are genuinely affected by these sorts of issues, and they are desperate for solutions. Mew claims to have the answer.
I think mewing and orthotropics in adulthood gives people a false sense of control over their facial anatomy.
Check out the links or the products below these mewing channels. What are they selling? Expensive courses? Overpriced products that claim to help? Even on Mew's own channel, he has a booking consult link, and that leads to a labyrinth of other broken links and defunct websites. I find it very interesting that Mew's hate on orthodontics seems pretty misplaced. Like, many orthos do actually address and correct issues involving the bite, the jaw, narrow palates. People get expanders at the orthodontist. Or it could be that their jaw problems are so widespread that they're gonna need like full-on jaw surgery to fix it. Does that mean that orthodontics as a whole are completely failing? I wouldn't say so. But ultimately, the wildest thing to me is to tell your audience that mewing alone can solve all of these problems. You can mew at any age. It doesn't matter how developed your jaw is, mewing can still change you. Yet this is all super ironic because I was looking into the Mew's work with patients, and first of all, they typically work with children who are in fact still developing. I found their orthodontic health site FAQ, and it states, is this treatment hard to do? Yes. It takes years to do, and it is about twice as expensive as traditional orthodontics. It's interesting to hate on orthodontics for being so invasive, time-intensive, and expensive when your treatment requires this.
This is an article about one of Mew's patients who was 6 years old. Dr. Mew wanted to start him at just 2 years old, but couldn't because he didn't have enough teeth at the time.
Yasmin Rufo wrote, the boy, known only as patient B, was fitted in 2018 with head and neck gear, which needed to be worn for at least 8 hours a day, and expansion appliance, which had to stay on for at least 18 hours, and removable upper and lower appliances, which could only be removed when he was brushing his teeth. The hearing was also told the treatment, which had a price tag of £12,500, risked causing his teeth to fall out and led him to struggle to eat. Again, I'm not a dental professional, but the professionals within the dental field overwhelmingly denounce the Mews. Mew has lost his license to practice in the UK, and he was expelled by the British Orthodontic Society. Though of course this narrative only bolsters his supporters, because of course the man is trying to take him down and silence him. He's a truth teller. This is a classic case of forbidden knowledge. Mainstream orthodontists and dentists are anti-mewing just because they're trying to protect their profits. Because mewing is free, and they couldn't possibly let the world learn of this revolutionary secret. Anyway. And now finally, let's go back to my obsession with chin lipo, what led me to want to pursue it, and why I didn't ultimately go through with it. Jolene Edgar wrote, with quick fix vibes and striking before and afters, submental lipo has long held widespread appeal, attracting both men and women, younger folks with naturally full necks, as well as older ones with weakening jawlines. Who doesn't want to get some fat sucked out of their chin? It's so easy. That's the thing, as I was researching this, chin lipo is just constantly touted as so easy, pretty much painless, it's so quick, you're in and out of the office, your recovery issues are gonna be fairly minimal, and that excess fat will not come back. Once you suck it out, it's gone. That's very appealing. Some people end up paying for Kybella and Coolsculpting first, not getting the results they want, and then they end up doing lipo after. So a lot of people on like the chin lipo subreddit are just like, honestly, just go straight to lipo. Out of all these options, chin liposuction is the most expensive, but at least it is pretty much guaranteed to work. And this is how I fell down the rabbit hole. Another big contribution was coming across a bunch of influencers YouTubers who got chin lipo, and again, they're so casual about it and they make it sound so fun and easy. They all say like, best thing I ever did. I saw like Victoria Paris, Audrey Peters, JC Marie Smith, and yeah, they like laugh with their little chin garments on as they're in recovery, but all of a sudden within a couple weeks, boom, swelling's going down and their chins do look amazing. That's the thing that annoys me. I really can't emphasize how insidious these TikToks and stuff are for me. Like, as I was downloading things for this video, I found myself falling way back into it and getting so obsessed and into this like self-hating place where I was like, I could be that person who looks incredible. My face gets to look amazing. I'm gonna be way happier on camera and in pictures. I'm not gonna feel as self-conscious. It really does put me in a terrible state of mind. And that's the thing about like TikTok For You page specifically, is once you start looking at this stuff, you're gonna be sent so much more of it, and then it will just keep poking at you and poking at you until finally you're like, what could one little consultation hurt? You know, I'll go check out the doctor, see if I'm even a good candidate. Though I will say the interesting thing is it's not even just liposuction. Chin lipo is the entry point, but having a perfectly snatched jaw can actually involve chin filler or chin implants, shaving your bones, or even some people get like deep neck lifts. Then of course you've got to add some skin tightening treatments to make sure your skin is elastic again. The bar is always changing. So here I am again, a year and a half later after canceling my consultation, and I still regret not doing it. Every time I catch myself in the mirror, every video I'm recording, I just think, why didn't I just do it? I could have gotten it done and I'd be perfectly healed by now. And every day since, I could have been enjoying the benefits of having this perfect jawline. Especially being a YouTuber, like I have to get on camera. I don't want to look at myself all the time. It sucks the fact that I've seen myself from like every possible angle. I wish I could unsee that. It's so sad because even like my wedding photos a few years ago were almost ruined by what I thought of my chin and my jaw. Another big factor since not getting lipo was that I got pregnant and I had a baby. So now I'm in this postpartum period. My self-image is a lot worse. Obviously I gained weight through pregnancy and I was fine with that. I was like, you know what, my body has to change. This is all good. But it's a different thing to actually experience, like how much your body can change in 9 months. And then all of a sudden you give birth and overnight it changes very dramatically again. You don't recognize yourself. You don't feel at home in your body. I just wanted to make this video to try to exemplify like the desperation, the level of desperation and obsession that I have felt continuously about this feature. Like, how is it possible that I've been so obsessed with something as insignificant as my jawline? Again, I found myself not only taking pictures obsessively trying to look at, you know, what I look like from different angles, but I would also go back and look at old pictures of me and say, oh, like, did I ever have a good jawline? Oh, I did when I was at a lower weight. Maybe I should try to get back to that lower weight. Just toxic, horrible thoughts. It's sad, but it's been real. And finally, why didn't I go through with it? Okay, I had the consultation booked. Here it was. I, of course, had researched some of the risks and I was a little afraid of side effects like fibrosis, which are these like tough kind of healing bits in your neck, or like your platysmal cords can show if they like do too much lipo, whatever. That was another thing I saw people when they're talking about chin lipo, they were like warning each other. It was like buccal fat removal where people are like, be careful, don't do that. Not because like you don't need it, it's fine, but like, oh, you're gonna look old. For chin lipo, it was, you're gonna end up with an old neck, and that would be a nightmare. But anyway, my main reasons. I have struggled with health anxiety for a long time, focusing on irrational fears, love that. And I couldn't stop thinking about, what if I got lipo done and there is that small chance of having a fat embolism? And what if I died because I wanted chin lipo? How embarrassing would that be? How against my brand? Is that how I want to be remembered? The YouTuber who dies getting chin lipo? I was just like, oh my God. And I'm laughing, but I'm like, what if, you know? And at that point, again, we were thinking about wanting to start a family soon. And I was like, wow, imagine if I died. How selfish would it be if I died and we never got to have children just because I wanted a snatched jawline? So that was pretty powerful. I thought about that for days and days. And then the other component, number 2, was that this kind of did go against all of my values. And that was something I was really struggling with. Do I want to continue to perpetuate this impossible beauty standard of the snatched jaw with literally all the fat sucked out of it? I had been struggling witnessing other people getting this done. Did I want to perpetuate that? Did I want to spread that? It's not like I would get my little chin lipo in a vacuum and nobody would have to think about it. It's only my business. It's like, no, it would become everyone else's business because I would be joining the game. And I literally was thinking, I was like, how would I address this on YouTube? What would I say? Would people be mad at me? Like, obviously I would be transparent about having it done, but I also wouldn't want to be promoting it. And that brings me to a podcast that I have been loving lately. It's called Diabolical Lies. Two of my favorite creators and writers host it. And they were talking about how in the realm of cosmetic procedures, being transparent and open about it is better than not, but it doesn't like undo the potential harm of perpetuating that beauty standard.
What is a myth is the idea that anything you do is just your choice. Every time that you get a procedure, you are exerting incrementally more pressure on all the women you pass.
I always now come back to this idea of neutrality being the real goal. Ultimately, at the end of the day, this stuff has to matter less. The like celebration and casual campaign to make cosmetic procedures more openly talked about and more accessible is just getting us further and further away. I am a fan of bodily autonomy, obviously, but it's the influence on culture, right?
And yes, here I am. Again, I feel like I've been like literally triggered by writing this video because I'm obsessed with chin lipo again. It's horrible. I'm so close to booking a consultation. I'm still fighting it. And I know it's such a stupid, silly issue, especially with everything going on in the world, clearly. This is just a little me problem in my brain, the most pointless obsession. But I think ultimately my number 3 reason now is that I do have a daughter. I really don't want to promote or project my toxic beauty ideals onto her or any of my future children if I have them. I'm really trying to practice changing how I think and talk about myself and how I judge myself because I don't want her to witness that and absorb any of it. It really is a testament of like how much we internalize of what other people say about their bodies and their appearances. But yes, shouts out to my daughter. Thank you for keeping me grounded. And I'm still gonna try to resist this.
I have pacts with a few of my good friends that we will tell each other if we're gonna get Botox because we're just like trying to not do it for a period of time. I'm not saying I'm never gonna get it. There are so few women that I am able to see as reference points for growing older, and it's very important to me that I, for as long as I can bear it, remain a reference point for someone of getting older.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. And a big thank you to everyone who has been supporting me on Patreon. I brought my Patreon back through like my little bit of maternity leave time off. And I just want to shout everybody out who has been supporting because it's made a really big difference and helped take some of the pressure off. And I appreciate all of the support. Whether you can support on Patreon or donate on Ko-fi, thank you to everyone who also donated there as well. Very kind, very generous, very sweet. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for future internet analysis videos. Okay, thanks, bye!